Hey, what's going on, Babymetal people? Sorry, I just had to glance at the mic to see if it was turned on. Let's give you like a little glimpse behind the curtain. I'm very excited to keep making these Babymetal videos, but for like maybe a reason that may be just weird to me. So the way I view reaction videos is I don't cheat, man. So like I don't listen to the shit first. I don't check it out first. I'm just going in, and whatever happens, happens. And so it's basically like every day I'm picking out 2 or 3, 4 videos, maybe 5 if I'm working hard, right? But it's like a sampler, like a food sampler. But I've had days where I picked out 5 videos and all 5 videos just are not hitting with me. And it's like going out to dinner and picking 5 new dishes and you just don't like any of the 5. But it's also weird because you're eating the food I'm picking out. So it's like, man, I'm sorry I picked out 5 things that I don't like and 5 things that you didn't like. And so right now we're on this little Babymetal wave. Who knows how long it'll last, where I'm like, I'm pretty sure that this dish is gonna be good. And so it's kind of relaxing and calming. And it's happened with different artists where you just hit an artist that you really resonate with, and then you get to like make a bunch of videos about the artist, but eventually you burn through their catalog, you burn through whatever's happening, and then it's just over. You gotta move on to something else. So anyways, I'm excited just because my expectations are pretty high. We've had 4 now, 5 videos, something like that. Maybe this is the 5th. And so far they've all been great and been different. Eventually this time will pass. Eventually we won't have this. So like, that's where I am mentally making this video for you guys, but I'm also making it for me because I'm the one. You're not here yet. Like, you're here right now watching it, but you're not here right now while I'm doing it. So it's like, I gotta make it for me, and then hopefully me making it for me is also me making it for you. That's how I think about it. That's like, I don't know. That's my thing. Let's go. Babymetal, Light and Darkness. This is the first time I think I've seen them do the pop locking. Okay, the subtitles are in Japanese. It's not helpful for me. So I'm listening to the chords. Like if you don't speak the language, you gotta really pay attention to the music. It's like if you ever listen to old school opera or something, which I only like 3% of opera, but you gotta dig in with your ear balls. That sounds like flat 6 to 5. Sorry, flat 6 to flat 7, which would typically be, I'm not gonna play it in the same key, but it's very epic. So like if we're the key of E, you get. But so far they've been stopping on the first 2. Which makes me feel like they're gonna deliver that last chord, but maybe they won't, maybe they won't. But if they keep going back and forth between those 2 chords, it really predicts that 3rd chord, which is very much in any song you hear it in, it's very much a march forward to something. Right? Oh! How about in the place of the 3rd chord, no chord, just the bass line. That's actually, hold on, I don't know if it's in the same key. That is the same 3-chord sequence I was talking about, but this is the first time they've moved through all 3 chords in a row. Hold on. Right? And home. There it is again. Okay, so what's I think is really fucking cool about this is basically this whole minute has been the same thing. It's just the first time they played the 2 chords and left silence in the third one. And they did it again and left silence. And then they went heavy and did all 3 chords in a row. Did that, I think, twice, maybe 3 times. And now they're doing it again, but now the drums have changed to like a disco beat. This is still the same thing, but now we've changed from disco drums to double bass drums. I'm pointing this out because of how interesting it can be to see how little of a certain element you can use and make an excellent composition. Harmonically, this has been the same thing for 1 minute and 20 seconds, but the textures are constantly changing. They're doing trickery with the same 3 chords. Okay, so now I'll put you like in my mind of what I'm thinking, because this is like when I was in music school, you would have to do in graduate school, you have to do on-the-fly analysis as an exam. They call it like a needle drop, where they just take a certain song and they start in the middle of the song, and you have to furiously dissect whatever you think you can find in this music. So right now, because they've done the same thing for so long, I want to know, are they going to build with the same thing they had before? And if they change it, how exactly are they going to change it? And so it looks like right now they might actually be static. So before they were moving on the 3 chords, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The actual chord Roman numerals would be flat 6, flat 7 to 1, a major. So if you're in the key of C, that would be A flat major to B flat major to C major, this constant pushing. And now they're standing still. Let's see if they stay still or if they go like crazy. And when I say still, I'm talking about the harmonic movement, which harmonic movement is a fancy word for the rate at which the chords change. So if you got a lot of chords in rapid succession, that's a fast harmonic movement versus a slow harmonic movement where you're moving slowly, or a static harmonic movement where you are sitting on the same harmony, but it's harmonic. So the rhythm can be anything it needs to be. We're talking about just how the chords change, the rate of change for the chords. So this is obviously the contrasting section because there's a lot of contrast. But now, the last time they were constantly moving to chords or the expectation of chords, and now they're just sitting on the chord. These are basic. This is kind of a similar chord structure. It's in reverse though. I wouldn't call it retrograde. I usually use retrograde for melodies. I don't know if it's going to make any sense in this kind. So you could go opposite, right? So I hope this works. So you could go right. We had to start off with. Then you go backwards. And that would be in a circle. And that's the opening chord sequence that was filled out. That's our original chords coming back. in a really funny way. I don't know how much you guys have listened to old school punk music. In a way, it is the anthem of punk music, like the Ramones. 3 chords, only 3 chords. So most all of this has been just 3 chords. But what they've done with the 3 chords is what defines it as metal and not punk. Or blues is 3 chords, country is 3 chords. This metal is basically 3 chords, but the ornamentation, the decoration of the chords is what makes it fucking metal. That's actually still the same thing, but the chord voicings are way different. I don't know if I could do a version of that. Well, whatever. I'll make it up, then let's see if I can make a cool version. I'm gonna stay in the key I was in, which is in E. So instead of that, you could like. So I changed 2 of the chords to minor, but also the voicing is different. We could make it bigger. How about, let's make them all minor 7s. So the fundamental is still the same, but by changing the spacing of the notes in the chords and the quality of the chords, we can now have access to different melodic information, right? Because there's certain notes that are consonant with a certain type of chord. A major chord, a power chord is different than a minor 7 chord, than whatever. So like we're still using the same overall structure, but we get different, by changing the tonality and the characteristics of the chord, we get access to a different palette of colors to paint with, right? Our scales and our melodies are just colors. So we change the foundation, we get access to different colors, which now creates again another layer of contrast, which is how so that's how this song is developing. It's all basically the same 3 chord structure, but how we change the rhythms, how we delete chords and insert the same chords, and how we change the characteristics of the chord to have different colors to paint with. This is how the song develops. Otherwise, it would be boring after a minute. But now we're 2.5 minutes in, 2 minutes 52 seconds in, and it's working because it doesn't feel boring and repetitive, even though the underlying structure is very repetitive. So even though this is going super fast, this is all really static. This whole section right here is 1 chord. And you've got a guitar in the background doing something on open strings. And then the drums are increasing in intensity, and the girls are holding a note and then singing higher and then singing higher, which is building to a climax. Where do they go? I would assume they're going to go back to the opening, but they could go to a bridge or an interlude or something. They went back to the opening and replaced the first chord. It's the same chord, they just put it all on piano. And now brought the band back in for chords 2 and 3, it sounds like. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I think is crazy. If I have anything like that I would want you to be excited about, I'm excited, but I'm trying to like tell you what I'm excited about so you can be excited for it too. I would say over 90% of this song is the same 4 measure, constantly repeated. There was a change about a minute in that also still might have been the same. My ears weren't fast enough to pick it up to see if it was the same thing. But almost, God, like 95% of this song is the same 4 measures, and at this tempo. So that's pretty quick. It's like 110 BPMs. So 4 measures, 12 beats, 12 seconds, reduce it down by that percentage, 8 seconds. This whole song is roughly the same 8 seconds of music, just developed across the whole song. But almost the whole song is 8 seconds of a theme. I think that shit blows my mind. Like, putting that shit together blows my mind. I remember when I was first like taught ways of doing that, and for me, because I was in class, I was doing classical music, you know, with Bach and Beethoven. When they would say like, hey man, here's 15 minutes of Bach or 15 minutes of Beethoven. And not just to me, right? It's everybody in the class. We got the same job to do. They're like, tell me how this entire 15 minutes relates to itself. Like, he's not just coming up, Bach and Beethoven is just not coming up with random ass ideas. They're using the shit that started the song, and they're using it to develop the song. And your job is to figure out, how do these Lego blocks click together? You don't know what they were thinking, but you can find relationships within the music. Anyways, I still, as you can tell, like, I still love that shit. Blows my mind. Like, I'm just like, oh yeah, you could just do that. Because I think also for me, is oftentimes when I want to be creative, I always think about change. Let's do this, and let's do something shockingly different. And so I love it when I hear someone not do something shockingly different, but the composition is compelling. And it's like, oh, you don't have to do something shockingly different. You can do what you've been doing and change the way you're doing it. And that will be compelling. Holy shit, this video is 19 minutes. I will try to delete out some of my slow ass talking. Let's see if we can get this video a little shorter than that. I'm out of here. Love you guys. I'm out.